Okay guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to code a scientific calculator using HTML, CSS and vanilla JavaScript. So this is a project we're going to be building today. As you can see, 7 plus 7 is equal to 14, and 14 divided by 2 will give us 7, and the square root of 7 is 49, and then the square root of 49 is 7. 70 minus 2 gives us 68. So you can see the time. So this is what we are going to be building. Okay, let's just get started. So I have created a HTML file, a CSS file, and a JavaScript file. You can see the 3 files are empty. So this is what we'll be using for our project. So let's start with the HTML styling. I'll be using Emmet, and let's say document name, let's say science calculator, or scientific calculator tutorial. Okay, tutorial. Let's just leave it like that. So we'll come to the body and link our JS file. So we'll write script assets dot science cal dot js. Okay, this is it. And then over here we're going to link our CSS file, style.file, but then this is assets dot science called CSS. Okay, that is it. So okay, so let's get started. So for the purpose of this video, I'll be using a live server to view our document. So I'll go ahead and click on my live server here, and yeah, that opens up to the live server, so we can check it out. Check the live server, save. You can see it comes up here. Okay, so that is it by that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a div. We're going to create a div to contain the calculator. This is what I'm talking about, this div here over here. So let's go back to a project. So what we're going to do now is we're simply going to just want to adjust to the screen so that you can see very clearly. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do is we'll create a div and call it cal container. Let's add as a calculator container. So inside the div we're going to have this section, the clock. You can see this clock section. So we start off with the clock section, and we can say for the clock, let's add a comment here that says clock, right? And then we start off by using a clock, a div, and then we're going to add a p with ID of time into this. So we're going to write something like time goes here. So for now, this is what we're going to have. We're going to get the value, the time from JavaScript. So we're going to impute JavaScript to run the time for us. So but for now, let it just be in this way. So that's all for the time. So the next we're going to do is sorry for that, I was messing around. So is the screen. So screen. So when you look over here, this screen, yeah, the calculator screen, that is what we are about to code right now. We want to write a markup for this screen. So going into that, we're going to simply say we're going to add a div with class display. That's going to be the container for the for the screen, and then we're going to add an input with type text, and then we're going to give it id of screen, and then a placeholder. We add a placeholder of 0, so let's just have a 0 placeholder. So when we save this, look at what we have, the result we have something like this. Okay, but then I can type into this. I know this is a calculator, you're not supposed to type anything into it, so all the input should be coming from the button. So to do that, we add an attribute called read only. So read only means you can type straight into this. As you can see, I'm trying to type something in my keyboard, well, it's not working. Okay, so that is that for the screen. So after the screen, the next thing we're going to do is to add buttons. So we add a comment here and say calculator button, something like this. Button, sorry, just messing around. Okay, calculator buttons, and I'm going to use a div as a container. So I will say keys, let keys be the container for all the buttons, and then here I'm going to add a paragraph. I'm going to add a paragraph. So inside the paragraph, I'm going to be adding this button. They say all the buttons here. So I'm going to be, this is going to be a paragraph, this is going to be a paragraph, this is going to be a paragraph, this is going to be a paragraph. So each paragraph is going to contain 5 buttons. So that is what we're about to do now. So what I will simply do here is I will say input type text. The type of the input is going to be button. Sorry, type button. So we have something like this. Value, I'll give it a class of btn, and also give it a class of btn sign. Btn sign. So now the reason is btn. Now this class, I'm going to use this class to style all of them. So if you look at this, you will see this. The buttons over here, they have the same color. The buttons here, these two have a different color. Why these don't have a different color? So also is this. So I'm going to use this btn sign to style this. Why this btn will be for the general class. Okay, so let's get into work. And then value, remember this is the first one, sign. So the first value here is going to be for the sign, and they're going to be into 5 buttons, 1 2 3 4 5. So what I'm simply going to do now is I will copy this into 4 times, 1 2 3 4. So when that is done, we put a value here to be sign for the first one, and I will put cos for the second one, and I will put tan for the third one, and the next one here will be a sign, and then here will be cos. So let's save that and see how it looks like. Okay, so you can see this is how it looks like currently. So remember that we have to get these buttons into 1 2 3. We have 3 more. So what we're simply going to do is we will grab this paragraph and paste it 2 times. 2 times. Please, I'm just trying to manage my screen. It's not that elaborate. So when we paste it 2 times, we'll start changing the values. So the next one here is the atan, which we continue from here. So what we do now is we add this atan here. So we just add it right here, atan. The next one will be this value, and that is pi. Now for pi, I'm going to copy pi and place right here pi, and the next one is the len, that is, and then the next one is log, then next one is after log we have the percentage sign. So after percentage sign we move over to the next one, which gives us the next one is that's the squared sqd, and we move over to the next one, cube, and move over to the next one, that's the square root sign, and I'm going to copy it, paste it, the square root sign, and the next one is going to be the open bracket, and this is going to be the closing bracket. So let's save and see what we have. Okay, so right now this is what we have at the moment. So you can see this 3, they're right here. So the next, what we're going to do next is to get this 1 2 3 4. So we're again going to get these buttons. So let's get into work, and this is where we stopped. So what we're going to do next is we're going to grab this this paragraph again, and we paste it, one time. So for the one time, now there's a space between here, you can see between these buttons and these ones. So we're simply going to add an inline styling, here. So we will say style margin top. So we're going to add margin top of 30 pixels. So save that, and so you see there's a space between them. So we're going to go back to the project. Okay, so right here we have the number 1, and now I'm going to add a class. This place, these numbers, you can see they have a different number, so I'm going to add, sorry, they have different styling, so I'm going to add different classes to this. Now the reason why I added one class to all of this is because they have the same color, the same styling. So here we have a different styling, so I'm going to add a different color. First of all, let me change the value. So this will be number 7, so we have 7 here, and here we're going to have 8, and here we're going to have 9, and here we're going to have the del, and then here we're going to have the C, which is for clear. So when we save, this is what we have, something like this. Okay, so once this is done, now the first part of this is having btn sign. Now I'm going to get rid of this. I will get rid of these, all of them, get rid of the sign. And so for the ones that have number, any key or any button that has number, I'm going to use btn num. So this one I'm going to say btn num, so that's number btn, and then here I'm going to also use btn num, and here also I'm going to say btn num. Now that is for 8, 9 here, but the delete and the clear screen button, they are red, so I'm going to change this to btn red, and also I'm going to change this to btn red. So save that. You're not going to see any changes because we've not gotten into the CSS, so this is just the markup. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this paragraph. Now remember, we're going to paste it 1 2 3, we're going to paste it 3 more times. So I'll grab this paragraph and then I'll paste it 3 more times. So grab it 1 2 3. Okay, that is that. And I'm going to remove this margin top because all of them, they're not going to have margin top. So we'll remove this margin top from the top. These are just only the first one is going to have margin top. All right, so I'll come to the next one over here, imputing the values for the next one. So the next one value here is going to start from 4. So here we have 4, here we have 5, here we have 6, and here we have the multiplication sign, and then here we have the division sign. So save the changes. So you see what we have, but we're still editing this, and we'll go over to the project. So the next one after this, the next one here is going to be 1. So here we're going to have 1, and here we're going to have 2, here we have 3, sorry. So 3, after 3, the next one will be the plus sign, and then after the plus sign, next to the plus sign is the minus sign. So if we save the changes and check, so this is what we have. So we are going to edit the last one. Okay, so coming to the last one, what we're gonna have here is which is this, is going to be 0. So we have 0 here. So we have the plus or the minus sign. So the plus or the minus sign, plus or the minus sign, yeah. And then the next one is going to be the period, and we have the exponential. So, and the last one is going to be the equal sign. Alright, you can save the changes and look at how this is the HTML markup. Like, this is how the HTML looks like. I think we are done with the HTML markup. There's nothing more that we're going to do, but one more thing let's not forget. So one more thing we're going to do is we're going to assign classes here. So from here we have, okay, from here we have number num. So remember I said any number, the ones that have numbers, they're going to have the same sign. And now look at this. These signs, they have a different color. Then the number keys, the number buttons have a different color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to assign opera class to this. So what I will simply do now is, after the red, when I get to multiplication, I'm going to add btn opera. So I'm going to say opera. So btn opera right here, and then when I come to the division sign, I will say btn opera 2, and when I get to the addition sign, I'm going to say opera, and when I get to the subtraction sign, I'm also going to add a class of opera to it. So coming down, 0 should be btn num because it's an alphabet. So, but when we come to the pluses minus, we have opera here, opera right here, and we have here also opera right here, and also after the opera we also going to add the equal sign. Remember, they are of the same, so I'm going to add opera also to this point. Okay, so right now you're not going to see anything because this is just the HTML markup. So the next thing we're going to do, I think we are done with the HTML markup, as simple as that. So the next thing, we're going over to the CSS, class, where we're going to style it. Alright, so let's jump into the styling. So the first thing we're going to start here is the body. So for the body, we're going to add the background color of white, FFF. You save it. So when we refresh, you're not going to see anything because the background is already white. So now the next thing we're going to start is this container, the car container here, the car container over here. Remember, it's a class, so we're going to select that class, car container. So car container, the first thing we're going to do is change the background. So we're going to add a background of 222. So save the changes. Yeah, you're gonna see this thing. All right, so you can see it in effect. So the next thing we're going to do is we add a width of 300 pixels, and we add a height of 520 pixels. We add a margin text line let's centralize the text, just align center. So if we save so far, you see all the text come at the middle. This is what I mean. You can see all of them, they are all centralized. Okay, so text center. The next thing we're going to do is add a border radius. Now if you look at this, you know this edge is not sharp, it has a border radius over here, so we're going to add a border radius of 10 pixels, and we're going to add border of 5 pixels solid black. Yeah, so you can see this border over here, you can see the border black. Yeah, so this is why we added the border black. Okay, so then what we're going to add next is let's add margin, so we can shift this to the right. So let's add margin left of let's say 50 pixel. Okay, now you see it moves to the right. Okay, so 50 pixels. So the next thing we're going to do is let's say a border right. Let's add border right of 10 pixels solid black, and we're going to add border bottom of 10 pixels solid black. Let me say that this project is made for absolute beginners, those who just want to practice the skills what I've learned in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it's for absolute beginner. If you're an advanced learner, no, this is not really for you, I could say. So I'm making this for absolute beginners. Okay, so the next thing we're going to start, I'm done with styling the container. So the next thing we're going to start here is the clock. Yeah, look at the clock right here. So we're going to select the clock class, clock, and then the first thing we're going to add position. We're going to make it relative, and we add the top 15 pixels. 15 pixels. Top when we save it, yeah, you're not really gonna see much thing now. 10 pixels, and height. Let's height of 40 pixels, and we add width of 110 pixel. Add border radius of let's say 4 pixels. Save the changes. You're not really gonna see much thing now. And border radius, we add left. Let's move it from here to the right. Let it be at the right. So we add left of 170 pixels. Save it. So you see it moves to the right. So the next thing we're going to do now is let's add a background, so you can see it. So that background black when we save it. So you see it now. Look at where it is. So background black, and finally let's add text line center, so we can centralize the text. So now remember, what I'm styling is the clock, the container for the time, and not really the time. So look at this, we have a container for it. So the next thing I'm going to start now is the time with the ID time. So for the time, I'm simply going to select the time. I'll say is an ID, so time. So I'll select the color to be black, because I want the color to be black, and I want the position to be relative also, and I want the background to be red. So if I save the changes, so you're going to see something like this right here. Okay, and I will add the width of 100 pixels, and height of 25 pixels. As a height 25 pixels. Save the changes. Yeah, so you can see the changes. I want to bring it down a little to to make it center, to place it on the center. So I will say top 3 pixels and left 3 pixels. Save the changes. So you see where it is. We see styling. So we'll add a padding top of 6 pixels. Save the changes, so you can see how it looks like. 6 pixels, and our text center, I want the text line to be center, and also I want to add a border of 2 pixels solid white. Yeah, save the changes. So yeah, you can see it's similar to what we have right here. You check this out and check this one out. So but then we need to add border radius at least to make it round. So we add a border radius of 3 pixels. We set that so you can see. Now, like I said earlier, the time will be coming from from JavaScript. So that's all gonna be for the styling for the time. So the next thing we're gonna style is the display. The display now, where is it? Okay, look at it here. That's for the screen. So we're gonna start the screen. So we start by selecting display, and we add a background color, background color to be black, and so we save that so you can see it right here. Background color black. We're gonna add a height. Oh, sorry, because I'm just messing around. So we're gonna add a height of 45 pixels and save the changes so you're gonna see how it looks like. We have position. We want it to be relative. Have a relative positioning, and we have display. I want it to be inline block display. So when we save that, is what we have. And I want to add top to be 30 pixels, and the width, I'm gonna make it width of let me say 265 pixels, something like that. I think it's gonna look good. So I'm gonna have a border radius of 5 pixels and save the changes. So yeah, this is what we have. Okay, okay, I think that's okay. So we will just style in the container, the screen container. So the next thing we're going to do now is we now style the screen with ID screen. So we go straight to that, and we select ID screen, and so the first thing we're going to do is make the position to be relative positioning, and let's say height of 33 pixels, and let me save the changes. So this is what we have. And then the next thing I'm going to do is top of 2.5 pixels, and what else? Width. Let me add a width of 253 pixels. Save the changes, and then what next? Okay, so after adding a width, so you can see how it looks like. But then after the width, we're going to add a background color. Now look at the background color right here, how it looks like. So we're going to add a background color to this, so we can say background like this, and we will say HBCCD95. So save the changes so you can see how it looks like. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, now look at the 0 right here. I don't want this 0 to be here, so I want to take it to the right. So we will say text align. So we take it to the right, so you see it moves to the right. So, and then lastly, second to the last is lastly, we're gonna have font size. Let's use 1.5 EM. I'm sorry, I just said 1.5. I'm typing 1.4. 1.5 EM. And one more thing, let's add a border radius of 5 pixels. So border radius of 5 pixels. Okay, so let's see how it looks like. I think we are good to go with the screen. So if you compare the two, you will see that they are same. Yeah, look at this and look at this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to style now is the key. The container for the button is this keys, the class keys. So we just go right here and put keys, and we're not going to style much for the keys. So the only thing we're going to add is position. We just want to make the position to be relative, and then we add a top. You can see they are overlapping. The screen is overlapping this, so we just shift it down by 40 pixels. So you can see, okay, so that's all for the screen. So the next class I'm going to style now is this BTN. Now remember that all the button has this BTN class, so I'm gonna style a general class for them. So I'm gonna say BTN, and I want the color to be black, so that is the text. I want all the text to remain black. So the next thing I'm going to do is background. I want to add a background of light steel blue. So when I save that, save the changes, this is what you're gonna get. So the next thing I'm going to do is the cursor. When someone hovers over this button, I want this cursor to change to a pointer, so I will just add cursor to be pointer. And the next thing I'm going to add a width to the buttons, width of 40 pixels. Save the changes, so you can see what we have. I think we're almost close to this, but okay, so we had width of 40 pixels, and we add a margin top 2 pixels, right 2 pixels, bottom 2 pixels, and then left to be 4 pixels. So if I save the changes, yeah, you can see they've all spread out. All right, okay, so the next thing we're going to do is font size. So we're going to say font size to be 0.9 em, and want all the text to be centered. So we have text align to be center. And okay, we're gonna say border none. I don't want them to have any border. Now the reason is because if you check this, when you click on it, there's an effect. So I want to remove the border. I want the border to only be added when the button is being clicked. All right, so here we don't have any border. Let border be none. And we can say, okay, now we're gonna add border top. Sorry, my this is messing around. Border top. So for border top, we're gonna have 2 pixels solid transparent. It's not gonna be any, just gonna be transparent. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna have is padding. Let's add a padding of 3 pixels to all of them, so you can see how they all spread out. They're just the same with this what we have right here, but the only difference is the colors. All right, so that's gonna be all for the general BTN class. Now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna start this sign class. Now the BTN sign class is the first 3 paragraphs. All right, okay, so we go over to our CSS, and we select our class BTN sign. And so the first thing we're going to do is to change the color. So we will say background. We're going to have 413C3C. So when we save the changes, so you see now this is the color. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we add a color to be white. So we just F. All right, okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add a border radius of 12 pixels, and you save the changes. So you see how it look like now. But now when I click on them, nothing happens. Now look at this. Now this is what we're building. When you click on it, there's a click effect, but here in our project, when we click on this, nothing happens. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a border top. So the border top is going to be the same color. Now look at this, you have a border. There's a border, a button border right here. So what we're going to do is add a border top of 2 pixels solid. It's still going to be the same color here, solid 4. Yeah, so we save it. You're not going to see any changes, and then we're going to say border bottom. So we're also going to have 2 pixels solid, but this time around it's going to be solid black. So we add 1 2 3. That's okay. So when we save it, so you can see the border bottom, but then when I click on it, nothing happens. So what I'm going to do now is to add active class to this. So what the active class does is when I click on it, this border disappears, and I will have a top border. All right, so I will just add a class here to say btn sign.active. So if it's an active class, what's going to happen? If it's an active class, I want the border bottom. I want the border bottom to be 2 pixels solid. Where's the color? Okay, yeah, this is right here. So, and then the border top, sorry, and then the border top is going to be 2px solid black. 1 2 3. Save the changes. So here now when I click on this, so you now see what happens. The effect comes up just like we have here when you click on this. So you see the effect here. All right, okay, so So you can see the effect, but nothing is happening because we've not added the JavaScript to it. So we're just doing the CSS styling. All right, so the next thing we're going to style is the btn norm. That's the btn class. If you go to our HTML, we're done with this class. So this is the class. Now we're going to style the btn norm. Yeah, this class. Okay, so we go back to our CSS and we're going to select btn norm. So we're going to add the background of black. We'll save the changes so you can see. Yeah, it's only the numbers that that changes. Others ones are still the way they are. Okay, so background color, then we're going to add color to it to be white. Save the changes so you can see the white over there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we add a font size of 1.1 em, and we're going to add a border radius of 6 pixels, and we're going to add border bottom of 2 pixels, solid 3. Solid was the color. Let me get a color. Okay, 3B 3737. Yeah, I guess that should be the color. Okay, so you can see the border bottom right here, and then we're gonna add a border top of 2 pixels, solid 2 pixels, solid black. Save the changes so you can see it, but then now when we click on it, that effect doesn't happen. So what we're going to simply do is we're going to add btn norm active. So on the active class, we're going to grab this. So in the active class, we are simply going to reverse the border. That's all we're going to do. So we change this to top. In the active class, change this to top, and we're going to change this to bottom. Save the changes. So when we click on it, you see that effect comes to play. I hope you can see that the effect comes to play. All right, I think that's all for the btn. So the next button that we're going to start is these 2 buttons, the red buttons. Now remember that these buttons, look at the color, they're red. So we're going to go to btn red, and we're going to add background color. So we're going to add the background of red. Save the changes so you can see the both of them are red. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we add padding of 4 pixels, and we add color of black. Let the color be black, 1 2 3, and we're going to add font size 1.1 em, and font size we're going to add border radius of 4 pixels, and border radius. So we're going to add border bottom. So border bottom, we're going to have 2 pixels, solid black. Yeah, 1 2 3. So save the changes so you can see the border black that's added to it, and we're going to add border top. So we're going to have border top, we're going to have 2 pixels, solid red. So this is going to be red. All right. Okay, so having gotten this, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bold. Now look at here, it's a little bolder than the others. So you can decide to style it anyhow you want, but I just feel like to add it. So I would say font weight, add a font weight of 600. So you can see it is bold than the other ones. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is to add the active class, so that when we click it, something happens just like the other ones. So like now when I click on it, now nothing happens. So what I'm going to do now is btn red dot active. So in the active stage, what is going to happen? In the active stage, I'm simply going to reverse the border. That's the techniques. So here I will say top, and here I will say bottom. Yeah. Now another way to do this is to change the color. You can change the color and leave this out, or you change this and leave this out. So when I click on it, so you see what happens. Yeah, the effect is it's being changed. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start these remaining buttons. Yeah, if you go to our CSS class, to HTML, you see btn opera. So this is the class we're going to start last. I think that's the last thing we're going to do on the in our CSS. So for the CSS, we say btn opera, and we're going to add background of 111. When you set the changes, you're going to see the background of 111, so you can see how it looks. So we're going to add a color. We're going to make the color to be white, FFF, and we're going to add padding. Sorry, I'm just messing around. Alright, add a padding of 4 pixels, and I'm going to add font size of 1.1 em. I'm going to add border radius of 5 pixels, and I'm going to add border bottom of 2 pixels, solid black. I can just use 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna add border top of 2 pixels, solid 111. Okay, save the changes. So this is what we have right now. Okay, then remember, when we click on it, nothing happens, so we want to add the active class to it. So we have btn opera and dot active. Sorry, I messed it up. So active class. In the active class, what happens? We're simply going to reverse this. So we just copy. Oh, sorry. So we just copy this. So we simply copy this and paste right here, and we're simply going to reverse the bottom and top. So now here we want the top to be this, and we want the bottom. So when we save the changes, you can see when you click on it, the effect happens. So all right, so this is what we have. Border top. Wait, hold on. Okay, I think the border is going to the top, so we're gonna change this color over here. So we're gonna change here to be 111, and put here to be 000. Save the changes. Then we come over here and say 000, and then here to be 111. Okay, now the reason why it's not all that visible is because, you know, okay, sorry, I didn't add the active stage no wonder. So we add the active and save the changes. So we have something like this. So you see, yeah, okay, but then the border goes up. The border goes up, so I have to bring it down. So I will simply reverse this to be, you know, here to be top, and then here it's gonna be bottom. All right, okay, so now sorry. So let's set the changes, and you know, this is what we have. You know, this is what we have here. Okay, all right. So you can see that the changes is being so I think this is all we have for the CSS. This is all we have for the CSS, and okay, for now. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to add the JavaScript. So for here, this is just what all we have for the CSS. Of course, when you check out this and this, you can see that they are the same. So in our next tutorial, I'm going to add the JavaScript to, you know, to it to so that we can be able to see a whole lot of this stuff. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please make sure to watch the next video to get a full tutorial. Now, thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial.